Thank you so much, gentlemen. I love you both so much. You do know me well. I have prepared all the permeations. Well, I haven't. Our stats team have. Thank you very much to the Foldy sheet. We are now down to 32 possible scenarios for tomorrow. I'm ecstatic to let you know, and to welcome Trouble to PGL, that 66% of remaining scenarios give us tiebreaker games tomorrow. We will break a lot of that down later on as we go through the conversation. While we wait for, I'm hoping, Sertuss to join us, let's start with Mad versus SK. Let's address the elephant in the room. Mad sucked, SK smashed.
That's a lion, but okay, we can address the elephant in the room. I mean, what do you want to start with, the good or the bad?
Well, let's start with the draft first of all. And the reason I want to start there, I think when Yamato and GB were guiding me through the draft, something they said really struck true for me is that giving away both Aphelios and Emilio, locking in Blitzcrank Draven, bearing in mind Kazi's played 4 professional games in the champion after today, something that they said which really caught my eye, if the Blitz, if Healy doesn't pop off, it's not going to go well. And I kind of feel like that played true, amongst other things, of course, right? Sertuss is ready, great. So, Trouble, tell me what you thought of the draft, and then we'll bring Sertuss in.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. Part of SK's success over in winter was the bot lane. And in this particular split, the bot lane has not been the strongest suit. So if Mad Lions could actually abuse that fact with a very strong early game lane, they would very much do that. That's why the Draven Blitzcrank. The problem is, if that falls behind, then you're in deep trouble because you don't have much consistent damage coming out of your other laners. Gnar is an AD dealing champion, but it doesn't do as much as an AD carry would, such as Aphelios. So if you let the game roll, Aphelios will run you over with Milio.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I see a little bit of a cheeky smile there. Exceptional game in a summer that has been very challenging. What did you make of the draft specifically? What did you think of the Draven Blitzcrank? Because we were scratching our heads a little.
We were kind of expecting it because they left Melee open when Yuma was banned. So we were like expecting Pyke or Blitzcrank, and then also on 4-5 Draven to just snowball early game. And I think we played it really well around bot. I think we only died once, and yeah, we outscaled them.
Talk to me a little bit about the combination. Markoon, I think both of you guys went unkilled as well. Exceptional performance. In terms of controlling the game, leading from the mid-jungle duo, how was the game from your perspective?
I mean, the game felt pretty good. We had Silas Poppy into Asia. It's like really huge kill. Like, we can really easily look to kill the Asia. So from that, we can play the early game around mid 2v2. But we also need to care around bot lane. So we just need to get mid prio and then hover into bot. So our bot lane can play 2v2. And that's how we tried to control the early game. And it looked pretty good.
Now, Giorgio, I was planning a little bit more about later in PGL. Once we got through the mid game, how was it SK able to just completely steamroll? I'm hoping we'll have some replays to pull onto your screen, but Trouble, take me through some of these.
Okay, the early game was fantastic. I think having mid-jungle synergy and a lot of push potential and kill potential with the Poppy that can lock down Azir and he can't dash away, then gives a lot of free pressure to the Sylas. And we actually saw the first Sylas of Summer from leader today. You pulled out the second one of Summer, Sertuss, and it looked pretty strong in lane. Once it snowballs, and you guys absolutely dominated on the 2v2. This is something that we haven't necessarily seen a lot from you two, but since you are, you have as an idol Zeka, your last 2 wins have been on Akali and Sylas. So how was that mid-jungle for you?
Yeah, I mean, I had pretty good ults this game. We kind of knew that they will pick Gnar on top lane as a counter pick. So yeah, playing like Sylas into Sejuani ult, Azi ult, Gnar ult. I was telling my team, don't worry on bot. Like, I will outplay them in team fights, and it worked out.
So hold on a minute. You expected Draven Blitzcrank or Draven Pyke. You expected the Gnar in the top lane. Did you pretty much figure out the entire map draft of the get-go?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, we banned the Renekton to also, because like Renekton is really good into Sylas, to also make like my pick like more valuable. And then, yeah, we kind of predicted them how they're going to draft.
Can I ask your opinion on this one? The casters were saying something in game, which I thought was an interesting choice of words. Mad Lions are having an off day. Now, the reason I think it's an interesting choice of words is I don't want to take anything away from you and the boys. It was a great performance and you took control of the game. But what do you accredit, the Mad Lions' performance? They have been a team that's been inconsistent, of course, so they're definitely not surprised to see you guys picking up that win. But they did look even more shaky than what we've come to expect.
Yeah, of course. I think Mad Lions, this split looks a bit shaky. I think even though the games they won, like at least 2 or 3 of them, they were like, against G2, for example, they were really behind and then they could still turn it around. So that's why I also told my teammates, hey, don't worry. They are the champions, but currently they don't look that great. So we can for sure beat them. And yeah, I'm really happy that we all were confident that game and showed what we are like. What we also do sometimes in scrims.
Well, listen, I want to take a second. After we've celebrated the win, let's just zoom out a little bit and talk about SK this summer. 3rd win. It's been 5 losses. What I really appreciate and I'm very thankful for is you're sitting here feeling very fired up. Obviously, the fact you picked up that win means there's still hope, there's still chances to make it to groups, still chances to make season finals. But it has been a rough summer. So when you think of all 3 weeks so far, how do you feel? How do you reflect on what has gone right and what's gone wrong?
I mean, honestly, the split has been really tough for us all. I think we didn't expect the results. We had a lot of games where we could have won against, I remember against Heretics, against G2. And yeah, it has been a rough split so far. But I'm not giving up until we are out. And I also hope, or I also try to tell my team this, there's still a chance. We play Fnatic tomorrow. It will be a hard one, but we bet them before. So I believe in us.
Yeah, and don't worry, Noah has already died once today, so his KDA is not...
it's
officially ruined.
In addition to 6. So it's gone from 98 to now 48 only.
Yeah, now I wanted to ask you, because I talked to Dos, I interviewed him. We heard from Arcuna as well. They say when a team starts losing, a lot of voices from everyone start rising because everyone is trying to find a solution to the problem, right? How do you guys manage to sort of tone it down and find what actually made you win in the first place and what works for you?
I mean, you can't imagine how much discussion we had today before the draft. And yeah, it's just like this. When you start losing, everyone start talking and trying to give ideas. And I remember I told my teammates today, because we had I think 2 hours of draft discussion, hey, no matter what we play, just think about the positive side, think about how we performed in Winter Split and believe in yourself. And then, yeah.
He's the Yamato of SK, apparently.
Listen, let's give you a quick update on this one. Because of the win today, if you win tomorrow against Fnatic, you are guaranteed a group stage spot. Okay, I'm sure you're aware of that. If you lose tomorrow, you are still guaranteed a tiebreaker game.
Okay, that's nice.
Is that news for you? Did you know that?
I didn't know that we will have a tiebreaker.
Okay, now, with that in mind, tell me what the mood of the team is going to be like. Obviously, you're going home very excited, but you're playing Fnatic, who look to be arguably the 2nd best team in the league. So do you have enough time to talk and prepare for this ungodly amount of conversation for Fnatic to pull off another surprise?
I mean, I will give my best, and I hope, or I also think that we are all in a good mood. And I mean, as I said, I think our last matches against Fnatic, we won 2 or 3 games in a row. They look really good. I think them and G2 look like the best 2 teams in the league. And it will be a hard run, but I think we can make it.
Well, listen, I know the standings are still on the screen right now. Thank you to our production team. If you take a look there, the fact that we have Astralis, Koi, SK Gaming, and Team BDS all tied at 3 wins and 5 losses, right? The reason that you will be guaranteed a tiebreaker game is in our rule set, when there is a tie for that 8th and final spot in the group stage, a game will play regardless of head-to-head. And the reason that is important is our 3rd game of the day is going to be Koi versus Astralis. You see both of them in there, 3 and 5. Oh. One of them has to lose. Now, there are a few other shenanigans. I've got these written down, so give me a moment here, right? If BDS and SK win tomorrow, we will get 0 tiebreaker games. Now, I love you, and I think if you win and BDS lose, I'm still happy. And the reason I'll say that is, here in Europe, we love our ties. If BDS and SK both lose tomorrow, And I'll say this, I do want that because I'm excited. Now, I know we want different
Nothing
things.
personal.
We get 2 tiebreaker games,
That's
okay?
right.
I'll explain all this. We'll probably have to do this tomorrow. But obviously, if one team wins, one team loses, we're only going to get that single game, of course. It's going to be up to Sertuss, see what happens there. So there's a lot of shenanigans afoot. Can you talk to me a little bit about why on earth is the LEC summer season this close? I know there's a lot of teams that have struggled to find their identity in some ways, but also we're seeing a lot of individual players and a lot of teams have these surprise wins, these performances. What do you mark these standings being so close to be a main reason?
I think it's just like, I think for sure one point is the schedule. It's like 3 weeks. It's the summer split. It's like all or nothing for every team. And then the stress level is really high. So there, for sure, in every team, there are ups and downs, right? And yeah, it's just, I think one point is the schedule. And the other point is like, I mean, some teams made roster changes, like Heretics and Fnatic. It worked out for them like really well, if you look at the standings. But then also other teams tried to keep the roster, which is also like fine, right? And yeah, it's just like everything is possible. Like everything is possible.
I love your optimistic outlook.
I feel like it's a kind of like a roller coaster of emotions, right? Because talking even to Peter Dunn, he said it's a very short season. And when you have a month and a half break, for the teams especially that did not get to go to MSI, you start cooking. And then sometimes you overcook. And then sometimes you're trying to find the identity. And that doesn't work, so you have to go back to your ways. I think a very huge example of that is also Excel. They tried to do something different yesterday, didn't work out for them, went back to the front to back. And it's fine, because it's not very easily counterable as well. So once you find that one style that really works for your team, and you can play it to your best standards, I think it does not matter. And I feel like only having 3 weeks to figure that style out is very little, and best of ones can be very tricky.
Yeah, Trouble, talk to me a little bit about your perspective when you look at these standings and obviously watching the games. What's your take on like how especially middle of the table, you see teams like Heretics, Excel, Mad Lions, they've picked up some big wins. Momentum seems to swing very quickly. What's your expectations for, how things are going to play out, let's say tomorrow, the last 5 games?
I feel like for these particular 4 teams, it's been win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. They don't have the chance to go into that sort of momentum of winning 2 to 3 games in a row and feeling like, we're unbeatable, basically. We have found what works for me. And I want to ask you too, Sertuss, on what you think about this, because how important is it to have this 2-3 game momentum so you don't end up in situations like this?
I mean, it's really important, like with this schedule, if you have like one good week where you go like, I mean, in Winter Split, we went the second week 3-0 and
how good did it feel?
It felt really good, and we made it into the group stage. In Spring Split, we also went, I think, the first week 3-0, and then the second and third week looked shaky, but we still managed to make it into group stage. So it's like really important for a team, especially like for example Excel, where they had like the second week where they went 3-3. They figured out their style to play like front to back with Asia, right? And yeah, it's really important if you have like one good week, you make it into group stage, you figured out the way you want to play as a team.
Yeah. I want to say thank you so much. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to buy a little bit of time. I'm hoping that we can get one of these tools updated so I can run through some of the scenarios. I cannot guarantee that I'll have it ready by the time we finish the show. So I'll ask a couple more questions. And Sertuss, I want to respect your time, especially with the big game tomorrow. Just before I look at the schedule, do you look ahead to tomorrow's games? Do you look at the rest of the matchups and think about those at all? How do you prepare for Fnatic, knowing it's game 5? There's 4 games before you. 24 hours from now, you might be locked into groups if you take down Fnatic and pick up one of the biggest surprises of summer, or you're going to be playing a tiebreaker game against the likes of, I think, Astralis or Koi.
I mean, I think we will do the same as today, because like before our match, we saw Vitality against BDS, and we really wanted Vitality to win. So we have one more win basically over BDS, but they lost the game, unfortunately. So, I mean, we will for sure watch the rest of the games.
Yeah.
And then just focus on ourselves. It's still in our hand. And yeah, I hope we will be prepared.
It's fine. They're game 5. They have a long time for draft discussion.
They do indeed. They do indeed. Okay, what I will do is this. I'm obviously predicting you guys to beat Fnatic because it'll be so spicy and fun. But for the other teams in the battle with Astralis and Koi, who do you think will win that game and why? That'll be my last question before we move on and close out the show.
I think Koi will win. I mean, Koi during the 3 weeks, right, they always look shaky, but then they still somehow make it into the group stage. think they are more experienced. I think they are the better team. I would assume that Koi beats...
Koi or Astralis, Trouble, who wins?
I think I'm going to go with Koi. If anything, Larsen said, I've not yet played Azir, so I'm expecting it's the last day, it's the last chance. I think the Azir has to come out. And also Astralis, there have been a few games where they've had a pretty good lead and they seem to get a little bit lost in that mid-game. So
Absolutely.
I'll just give it to Koi.
Okay, unfortunately, I will let everybody watching at home. I don't have the tool updated to run through you with all the correct updates. We will look to plan to do something like that during Ready Check or during the course of tomorrow's show. What I will do is one last thing. I'm hoping we have the championship points graphic. If that is ready, production, could we bring that up? And the reason I do want to look at this one is I'll have one last question here. Importantly, I want to draw everyone's attention to Team Vitality, right? They have been eliminated from advancing to the group stage. So while I believe in 10th place they should get 7 points, their final standing will be 137 points, and they are now hoping that teams below them, like SK at 90, like Fnatic at 30, Heretics at 30, X at 10, all teams who are, barring SK just yet, in group stage are looking forward, looking to overtake them. Only 6 of these teams advanced to our 2023 season finals event that culminates in Montpellier. And of those 6 teams, 3 of them guaranteed worlds. 4th one will play LCS. It's huge. There's a lot on the line. It's a brutal schedule. Does SK talk about championship points? Do you talk about season finals? Like, are you aware that if you don't make groups, you don't get season finals?
Yeah, of course. Like, we talk about it. I think we all also think about it. Right, like we're head-to-head with like Astralis, so it's also like our goal also was it before the split begins that we have at least like more wins than Astralis to get also more points, and yeah, I hope we can make it.
I mean, it means taking down Fnatic, and it means your prediction has to come true. If those 2 things happen, you accomplish the goals. Final thought here, just in terms of a goodbye to Vitality, who obviously crashed out today. A terrible summer season, definitely not living up to team's expectations, but they did have a good winter and spring. Obviously, that's given them a chance.
I think it's so heartbreaking, honestly, getting into this particular meta when we're like, solo laners are so important, so integral. Having a solid laning phase is so good. And if you look at every single individual on this Vitality roster, they're supposedly on paper the best at their role. And to see them go down in a fashion like this, where they looked so lost, so miscoordinated, especially when you have so many veteran voices in the team, is kind of heartbreaking. Now, do I hope to still see them in the season finals? Yes. Do I hope they have a comeback? Yes. Because caliber of players like this is always awesome to watch play versus teams like G2 and Fnatic that look so strong.
I'm going to add one condition for you.
Okay.
Yes, I will welcome them back if I see some team play coming out and fixing these problems. Sertuss, I'm going to give you one last opportunity. Would you like to say anything to the fans, to the supporters, people who are cheering you on? Today was an emphatic victory. You've definitely earned a shout out to everybody watching at home.
Yeah, I mean, thanks to all the fans, and I really appreciate your support. I'm also reading your messages. So, yeah, I hope you guys keep supporting us, and I hope we won't disappoint you tomorrow.
Listen, reading the message, I'm trying to do it, but Elon's trying to screw us on that one. Right, I'm told I have to do a PGL selfie. I don't know how this works. So let's try this one out.
Press the button and take a picture.
Okay, wait, I'll come sit on the sofa. Let's do it this way, right? We'll go wide angle on this one.
That's not going to work.
It will. I've got a good camera. And then we've got post-game lobby, cameras coming in, cameras over there. All right, to everybody watching, cheers. I'm sorry we didn't do Sonoras. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll see you 5:45 on Monday, whatever it is, for the last day. And we're going to see Sertuss taking down Fnatic. Bye, everybody. Bye. Cheers, everyone. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well played.
Big brain. Abadage now in trouble. Pulled back. Oh, the combo's almost perfect. Oh, he hits him out of the sky. Ooh, pull back. Leader getting level 6 first. Can he knock him back? Between the goalposts. Oh, he's scoring. God, again, we just rinse and repeat the body block. Patrick waiting over the wall. Leader overextending. This is going to be a big shot to Leader. Oh, no! Amumu does have friends, and they're damn good at League of Legends.
They slowed. Illu's not there yet. Look, run. I'm tipping. I have knock up. I don't have W. I think we win though, anyway.
Guys, look, another for Blackhead. And I may have spoken too soon as Heretics are able to dash away. VTO dashing, it's a double! Ragnarok being used, cease and desist, 8 seconds away, the smite for the slow, Jankos looking for the red buff as well!
Actually, just do it, okay? Do it and okay, can I ult Poppy? Are you guys ready? I can look, if he's here, I wanna ult. Look. I'm looking. I'm ulting. Nice ult. Guys.
No ultimate tech for him. Here we go.
They're looking for Noah, they get the hook! Noah dies! And alongside it is KDA pulls!
It's fine. I'll go to Sana. First target. Okay, he's beat. First target. Go. No,
TP now from Adam as Photon dashes forward, pulls him back with a showstopper, and he absolutely punches through Vitality, but Perks is beginning to Goomba Stomp Labrov with the charm on the Photon as they look to re-engage. Labrov finds a double knockup, and the face breaker will pull them back. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Adam buries Vitality in the dirt. Oh, pressure. Hillisang looks for the hook, can't get it underneath the tower. Marku dives in, and immediately Hillisang dives. A shuffle back, but it's not enough. Mad Lions.
Did you see what I did in the end? Nice one, guys. Well played.